So my last reading vlog adventure did not get a lot of views, but I had a lot of fun making it, so I'm gonna do it again anyway. Oh well. Hey, it's Britt. So, I'm about to start How to Be Famous by Caitlin Moran, which is a sequel to How to Build a Girl. So, yeah, it's safe to say that I got sucked in. Oops. And so, at 19, here I am in London. And London, it turns out, is the place for me. I was right. I was right that this was the place to go. I moved down here a year ago to a flat in Camden to pursue my career as a music journalist. I bought 3 bin bags full of clothes, a TV, a laptop, a dog, an ashtray, a lighter in the shape of a gun, and a top hat. That was the sum total of my possessions. I didn't need anything else. Alright, so that's where we are. That's where this book kicks off. Hey, so I just finished up chapter 1, and it's just basically catching us up with Joanna 2 years later. She's staying in London in her flat, and I think her brother Chrissy and her dad are coming to visit. Yes, because chapter 2 opens with I am trying to explain all this to Chrissy as he sits on the sofa of my flat in Camden in August 1994. So, yeah, chapter 2. I could be wrong about this, but it doesn't sound like Joanna is writing for Dee and Me anymore, which was the music journalist review magazine that she was writing for in the first book. But I'm on chapter 3 now, so maybe that will get explained. Oh my god, Chrissy says, staring. I really fancy him. I can't believe he's here. Jerry is pale, troubled young man pale, with blonde hair, shades, and a leather jacket despite the heat. He looks like a hot Nazi, Chrissy says, longingly. Chrissy has never talked to me about who he fancies before. This is a novel and delightful thing. You're Dolly Wilde, aren't you? He says, like he just realized I'm actually a human being and not a farm animal getting in his way. From Dee and Me, you're the positive girl. You love everything. He says this in a way that conveys the loving everything is an eccentric and foolish position to take, but whilst beaming hotly at me from behind his sunglasses. It's quite discombobulating. I am one of Jesus' sunbeams, yes, I say. Good job, I've got my shades on then, he says, still grinning. Okay, Jerry. But I guess that answers my question. I guess she is still working with Dee and Me. So the bad news is we're on page 25 and Joanna is already about to have really bad sex. But the good news is John Kite was mentioned. She's not having sex with John Kite. But the good news is John Kite was mentioned. Okay, well that crisis was partially averted. I can speak. Clearly, it was weird. It was weird. He was watching himself on the TV. She was giving him a job. It was weird. So there was a plot twist, and by a plot twist, I mean, Jerry Sharp, the guy that Chrissy fancies. It turns out that he was a completely different person. Oops. One second. Oh, Chrissy says, oh dear, that was Jerry Sharp? Oh, I don't fancy Jerry Sharp. He looks at me, clearly puzzled. I saw him on Have I Got News for You once. I thought he was a bit of a prick, to be honest. Chrissy shrugs. I thought that guy last night was Dennis Leary. Now him, I fancy. Oh God, I really was drunk. And the trees of Regent's Park, where I kissed John. It was definitely me kissing him. He explained that I was too young to kiss back, but that we would kiss one day, as you are a you, and I am a me. And on this gentle, jokey promise, on this kind thing said to a sad girl, I have moved down to London because one day I will be old enough for him to want to kiss me back, and I want to make sure that I'm standing right next to him when that happens. Johanna, you gotta leave this company because they treat you like absolute garbage and you deserve better. Dee and me? Go fuck yourselves. Cause this shit is unfair. First of all, she's gotta work with her ex, Tony Rich, scumbag of the year. But I digress. The first feature I did for Dee and me 3 years ago was interviewing Kite. High off spending a night in Dublin talking with him, it was essentially a love letter and nearly resulted in me being sacked for, quote unquote, being an overexcited teenage girl. She was a teenage girl. I tried once to explain that we actually are friends in real life and that I water his plants when he's on tour, which resulted in Kenny screeching, "Mark Chapman's got the keys to Lennon's house, run, John, run!" So now I say nothing. Get out of there, Joanna. Get out of there. They don't deserve you. Apologies if you can hear people in the background. We're in quarantine, so people are home, so gotta deal with that. I can't just film this when I'm home alone, because I want to read. And I don't want you guys to miss out. So, and by you guys, I mean Cade, because I think he's pretty much only going to be the one watching this. Maybe Ashley. Currently 7 chapters in, and yeah. It looks like Joanna is going to be leaving Dee and me. Yesterday, the new Dee and Me came out, and in it was a massive interview with John conducted by Tony Rich. As Rich had promised in the editorial meeting, he has a quote-unquote few ideas about John's recent success and new audience. Those ideas, it turns out, are based around the opinion that John is a cunt. The piece started with brisk hatred, and then continued in that vein for another 2,000 words. It's always interesting finding out which artists insist they are in it for the music, man, here to push boundaries, blow our minds, shake things up, or just speak from the depths of their broken heart. But who will abandon it all in a second when they hear the rattle of a teenage girl's piggy bank? 2 short years ago, when John Kite was the shambling, revered chronicler of the darkest part of the night. Who could have guessed that, in 1994, he would be putting out singles that made REM's Shiny Happy People sound like Skin's Shame, Humility, Revenge, and causing teenage girls to cream their jeans when he appears on the top of the pops? The basic premise is that John is a craven, opportunistic arsehole who has sold out. Doubt it. Sounds like he's just a little bit salty. The thing is, as soon as I read Tony's piece, I knew exactly what he was doing. He was using John as my whipping boy. Tony is exactly the kind of peevish, spiteful man who would publicly eviscerate a man's career just to get at a woman who once sexually rejected him. I've been John's cheerleader, and so now, in the quiet Cold War between Tony and me, John must be taken down as a strategic stronghold. This kind of thing happens all the time in music press. It's such a small, incestuous world that the magazines are often used by the way of a dead letter box for writers to cottedly snipe at each other in front of 80,000 bewildered readers. Tony's not even being subtle about this effort. One paragraph talks of a certain kind of teenage girl, the loud, attention-seeking, drunken ladette on the night bus, pockmarked with love bites, desperately name-dropping titles of books she read and did not understand, in the hopes of impressing boys who are secretly horrified by her. Oh good, she resigned. I think this is a good quote to leave this video on. Suzanne might believe that art is all about revenge, but I believe art is about making someone fall in love with you. This is the big difference between us. Yeah. That's a good place to leave this video on. I'll see you in the next one.